What I'm saying to you about boosting your income and what Nipsey did was powerful. Most high performers live that way. I do the same thing. But it only works if it's backed by daily, repeatable behavior. Nipsey Hussle understood this. Your income isn't decided in public. It's decided by what you repeat in private when nobody's watching. On Victory Lap, he said, spoke some things into the universe and they appeared. That wasn't manifestation. That was discipline in disguise. Here's what I've learned watching entrepreneurs, leaders, and high performers up close. People don't lose because of lack of ambition. They lose because their daily habits don't match the future they keep talking about. Nipsey wasn't special because he dreamed big. He was dangerous because he built habits that matched his vision. And today, I want to show you how that directly ties to your income, your execution, and your identity. In the song, That's How I Knew, Nipsey laid it out so clearly. I seen it, I thought it, I dreamed it, I said it, I did it. That wasn't poetry or lyrics, that's a sequence. Vision always comes first, not because it magically creates results, but because it changes how you behave. Once you clearly see a future, you stop wasting time on distractions, you tolerate less nonsense 1000%, and you become more selective around your energy because income doesn't respond to motivation. We all know that. It responds to repeated behavior driven by a clear internal picture. The thing is, most people underestimate habits because they look small, but habits are not small. Habits decide how you show up under pressure, what you default to when nobody's watching, and whether you execute or hesitate. So if you think about your habits right now, based on what I just said, where do you fall under those categories? As you can see, your income is not a reflection of what you know. It's a reflection of who you've trained yourself to be. Think about that. Nipsey didn't just talk about ownership, discipline, and legacy. He practiced the behaviors that made the outcomes inevitable. That's the difference. That gap is alignment between what you say you want and what you practice every day. You don't consciously choose most of your actions. They're triggered by cues in your language patterns, like stress, fatigue, environment, and routine. So those cues decide whether you scroll or study, consume or create, or avoid discomfort or lean into it. Nipsey was intentional about his environment, like most high performers. He designed his days so the right behaviors were easier to repeat. That's the secret. That's not motivation, that's discipline engineered in daily life. One of Nipsey's most powerful quotes, instead of trying to build a brick wall, lay a brick every single day. And that's not hype. That's actually how wealth is built over time. Income doesn't explode because of one big moment. It grows because you show up again, you repeat the work, and you stay consistent when nobody even notices. Most people quit right before the compounding starts, and that's why the gap just widens. So the real advantage isn't just one habit, it's stacked habits. When habits reinforce each other, discipline sharpens focus, focus improves execution, and then execution builds confidence. And that's how people perform under pressure. But very few people can stay aligned with their vision for years. But that's where the income is decided. On Victory Lap, Nipsey said one thing that a lot of people, even most people, overlook. He talked about speaking things into existence and then warned that if you don't have purpose behind it, you just wasted air. And I agree with that 100%. I didn't know Nipsey the way some of my friends did, but I didn't learn this from a distance either. I watched him live this quietly, consistently, when nobody was watching. Nipsey didn't just talk about mindset, he studied it. Over the years, he shared a list of books that shaped how he thought about discipline, ownership, and long-term execution. I put that reading list together, the exact books he recommended, and it's available if you want it in the link below. What I'm saying to you about boosting your income and what Nipsey did was powerful. Most high performers live that way. I do the same thing. But it only works if it's backed by daily, repeatable behavior. Small actions repeated in private don't just change your future, they change what you believe you're capable of. And that belief right there determines your income. If this episode changed how you think about habits, identity, or leverage, the deeper frameworks that I do and that I mentioned live in my books and my private work. That's where you should start, because that's where the real transformation happens. And if you felt like this episode was beneficial to you, please share with a friend and subscribe to follow the Inner Architect series. Guys who play basketball and they're like, this dude is still holding on to the fact that he used to be in the NBA, but he's 35 now, still telling people, oh, I used to do this.